We had, I thought, a really awesome event based on, on talking with the ministers who were here and participated. And I think everybody who was here, they can actually feel an incredible spirit here of loving and caring and compassion. And I was thinking, as we went through the program, a thought came into my mind about something I experienced in the prayer room at the Newsworld a long time ago. And when I was kneeling in prayer, I heard a voice come into my heart and mind. Because I was praying to God, like, what can I do to help this situation? And this voice said very clearly, I want you to do two things. I want you to take care of my children. Because when you really take care of my children, that really comforts God and even gives God hope. And the second thing was to pray, because when you pray, people will be able to feel me and see me in your prayer. So yesterday, we had this event, amazing event, and I realized how important every person here in this room really is. We're all extensions, because we're all involved in a movement, not for our own benefit, but trying to save people and introduce them to God's love and true parents, which are like the center and heart of our movement. So as I look around each person here, Dr. Young talks about the ministry of personal touch, where you actually go up to people and you hug them. And I tried to do that as much as I could yesterday, but I couldn't do a lot. But I noticed that when I really go up and really hug people, it really changes people's feeling. There's always some kind of wall, right? Sometimes separates you. But that wall can, when you extend yourself and hug them, they can feel your compassion. They can feel God's love. So it's a very simple thing, but it creates an amazing atmosphere of bringing people together. So I also wanted to take time to thank everyone here about all their effort. There was a lot of effort behind yesterday's event. And first I'd like to recognize, of course, Gail. That's been wonderful. We were working for days in sanctuary trying to make everything beautiful for everyone. So that when they walked in the room, you could feel something, when you walk into a room like that. It all begins with creating that kind of environment. And so I also wanted to thank the band. Music is such an amazing thing to have, to really raise the atmosphere of a room. And the band did an amazing job, I thought. The music was awesome. Pastor and the band just really knocked it out of the park, I mean, it was really, it's such an integral part of what we do, and especially I would think for young people, who are really into music. And all the people who were serving the food, I was wondering how they're going to get all these plates on the table. There's about, 50 to 60 people in the room. How we're going to do that? But everybody pitched in, and it was done so quickly. And instead of people struggling to, get food, in a crowded space in the other room, they could spend time to talk to one another. So all these little things were happening in such an amazing way, it feels like to me, that Bishop Dudley was going around and juggling people, telling them, you gotta harmonize with other people in the room, so you need to sit somewhere else. You need to break up your little your little group, and sit with somebody you don't know, And so he could say things I would never even think about saying, but he did it in such a way that it really helped our event. So there, also, I noticed. Let's see, there was. I'm trying to say is that there was people in the room that, and I like like to mention John Pace, who was recognized by the Walkers, and he remembered John, and he remembered.
He remembers me better than I remember him.
Yeah, I was
I
really.
think it's because of Sharon.
When people are recognized, they feel something, right? You feel something good, the people are being included in everything that's being happening here. So, we want everybody not to feel left out, but really realize it's a team effort and a contribution to all the things that we do. So every one of you are so important. You may think not, but you are. So, the other thing I wanted to mention is, besides the Ministry of Personal Touch, which I learned is so valuable, it's the ministry of the digital age that we live in. When we introduced the ACLC video, of course it's not refined yet, of course, but most people have no clue about how God is working on a broader scale in the world, But when you look at it, we know what's happening. Like on morning devotion today, I saw something that I didn't know so much about, the opening of the Peace Palace in Chungkyung. And what an incredible event. I don't know how many saw that. Yeah. But it's mind-blowing to see what's going on, And the Dudleys are right in the middle of a lot of our events. And so I think that because we have the ability to see a vision of what True Mother is trying to accomplish, what God is trying to accomplish in the world. And that comes to the point that I wanted to talk about more as a vision. If you have a vision, and people work so hard to achieve that vision, but we have to have faith that we can accomplish that vision in order to make it a reality. And what we saw yesterday, I feel like, was one step in that right direction. Because I think internally, all people really want to live as true brothers and sisters, and find people that have compassion and care about them. And we're providing that in that little event that we had here yesterday. Every single person here was extending themselves to everybody else. And we created an amazing atmosphere. And then when we expand that on a broader level in Chungkyung, when you see how massive it is, and see all these mega churches like Noel Jones in California, how awesome it really is, but something is really happening in the world. In spite of all the chaos and the confusion and difficulty in the world, there's something rising up that we're not aware about, but people need to be more aware to see that God is really working behind, far beyond what we know. And even ourselves, we don't know what's going on all the time with Reverend Jenkins over there and some of these world leaders. And someday when if they accept your parents and say, how did that happen? Well, it was because of all your hard work and all your effort that made it happen. It didn't happen instantaneously or automatically, but it happened because of all the investment we do. And the other thing that I wanted to mention is, in order to be successful, I learned, you have to pay the price. No gain without some pain, as some people would say. But you have to pay a certain price. When you invest all your heart and all your effort, then God will come, and Spirit world will work. And so even there may be little glitches here and there, but I've learned in the past, whenever something big comes up, if you kind of like have a kind of a lazy approach to the event, or you're not really serious, it doesn't work out that well. But if you're really sincere and give your best effort, then amazing things can happen. Spirit can come and support you. So, and being involved in other events like that, I've had that experience. That one little extra effort to go a little bit further can result in heaven and spirit world helping all of us and helping our events. So, yesterday, according to my count of the people that we invited, including members, it was 62 members, men and guests, of course. Of course, there's a few that probably didn't come. I don't know exactly who was not able to come. But, that's a lot of people. As most people have mentioned, that's more guests than we had members here, which has been mentioned before. But so it was it involved the teamwork of all of you participating and helping. And even we had help and support from Virginia. And Mary Helen came down to Virginia to help out. My spiritual mom. So grateful that she could come and help. And so grateful for everybody that participated. And Bob was great, and everything he does. And the band was awesome. Everybody was united. And even we had some real challenges because, the walkers were running late, and Devetta was running late, so we had to flip things around a little bit. But it all worked out because the effort and the heart was there to make it work. And that's the most important thing, People are at different spiritual levels, and we have to accept them for who they are. And if we serve and love and care for them, then they can begin to trust us, and they can become involved with us. And like the Riddicks, amazing, that a couple that just jumped right in there and putting away chairs and what do they call that? Their church. It's
Armed and Ready.
Armed and Ready. Boy, they were ready. They were armed. They were talking with me in the back of the church, and and they were just so excited about what they what they experienced here. They were very excited, and there was a minister from the Congo who came up to me and said, "This is really great, I want to be involved." And then I turned around, and Ann Nielsen sitting there praying with one of the Armed and Ready ministers, So it was just a real moment that we had together, and I hope we can really build on that. And also have the vision of what it could be like. That God is working. John always says that God is in control. We may not always realize it. It may not happen according to our schedule. And sometimes you get frustrated, because it's not happening fast enough. But God is working. And it's because of God's love and belief in us that we can accomplish things together as a team. Not as an individual, but as a team. Everybody's important in this process. So that's my basic message today. Some reflections on the event that I had. And if we keep working together, unite together, we can do even greater things. At first I thought, we should, this church shouldn't be rented out. I didn't kind of go on against my nature, but now I can see the value of making this facility available to communities, leaders in communities, that can really come here and really experience this and really want to become involved. They're really getting connected very quickly, by just running this facility, but they're getting connected to us because they were here to participate, in some of our events. So this is a way of witnessing and outreaching to the community, which I think now is a really good thing. So I wanted to ask if there's anybody who feels motivated to give some testimony or some feeling about the event they'd like to share with anyone. Is there anybody? Mark. And incidentally, Mark is an amazing guy. He worked at a prayer room. When I walked in there and I saw the pictures so beautifully hung on the wall, they looked like they were in suspended animation, They were all away from the wall, I was thinking, how did he do that, But Mark is a man of many talents. So we appreciate his effort in the prayer room and Bob's effort, and also his musical ability. It fits so nicely in the band, so please welcome Mark.